Hello. In this lecture, we will revise whatever we have studied about current electricity from chapter number 3 of class 12 physics. The revision is in the form of questions and answers, which include 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 or 5 marks questions. 5 marks questions. We have also added multiple choice, completion type, true or false type and matching type of objective type of questions. The important formulae are given in the end. As you all know, the syllabus for the academic year 2021 has been revised by many of the state boards due to pandemic, and some portions have been deleted. The deleted portions of this chapter are carbon resistors, color codes, serial parallel combination of resistors. This chapter will have questions for 13 marks of different types. They may be question, 1 mark, 2 mark or 5 mark questions, 5 mark or 3 mark questions. These are also displayed as blueprints in this screen. 1 mark questions with answers. First question is, what constitutes an electric current? Charges in motion constitute an electric current. Question number 2. Define electric current. The amount of charge flowing across an area held normal to the direction of flow of charges per unit time is called electric current. That is, electric current is nothing but flowing of charges through an area. Question number 3. Give the SI unit of current. The SI unit of current is ampere. Question number 4. Define the electric current or write the relation between coulomb and ampere. Answer. If 1 coulomb of charge crosses an area normally in 1 second, then the current through that area is 1 ampere. That is, 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb per 1 second. Question number 5. How many electrons per second constitute a current of 1 milliampere? Answer. We know I is equal to Q by T, that is charges per second. Q itself is Q is equal to N into E, that is N is number of electrons, E is the charge of electron, divided by T is the time. Therefore, simplifying this equation, N is equal to IT over E, that is Ne by T, and I equals Ne by T. Therefore, N number of electrons will be is equal to I into T divided by E. Therefore, he has asked in the question of 1 milliamp. 1 milliamp means 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3. 1 milliamp divided by E. E is 1.6, that is charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Simplifying this, we get 6.25 into 10 to the power of 15 electrons. Question number 6. Is electric current a scalar or a vector quantity? Electric current is a scalar quantity. Question number 7. What do you mean by steady current? Answer. A current whose magnitude does not change with time is a steady current. A steady current is a DC current. The curve is a flat line parallel to x-axis. Question number 8. What do you mean by varying current? Answer. A current whose magnitude changes with time is called varying. That means if the amplitude of the current changes with time, like a sinusoidal sine wave or a sawtooth wave or a rectangular wave is a varying current. That is, the magnitude varies with time. What does the direction of Question number 9. What does the direction of electric current signify in electric circuit? Answer. The direction of conventional current in an electric circuit tells the direction of flow of positive charges in that circuit. That is, the direction shows the direction of flow of positive charges in the circuit. Question number 10. What is the net flow of electric charges in any direction inside the solid conductor? Question I will read once again. What is the net flow of electric charges in any direction inside a conductor? It is 0. The net flow of charges inside the solid conductor is 0. Question number 11. Name the current carried in metals. That is, he has given solid conductors, electrolytic solutions, that is liquid conductors, and discharge tubes, gaseous conductors. That is, we have to name the current carriers. Answer. Free electrons in solid conductor. That is, the current carrier in solid conductor is free electrons. And in case of liquid conductors, that is electrolytic solutions, the current carriers are positively and negatively charged ions in liquid conductors. And in case of discharge tubes or gaseous conductors, the current carriers are positive ions and electrons in gaseous conductors. Question number 12. State Ohm's law. Answer. Ohm's law states that the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference V applied across its ends, provided the temperature and other physical conditions remain same. That is, keeping the temperature constant, the current I is proportional to the potential difference V. That is, I is proportional to V or V is equal to IR. Question number 13. Define resistance. It is defined as the ratio of potential difference V across the ends of a conductor to the electric current through it. So, resistance is V by I, or R is equal to V by I. Define SI unit of resistance. The resistance of conductor is 1 ohm if 1 ampere of current flows through it when the potential difference its ends is 1 volt. That is, if R is equal to 1 if V equals 1 volt and I is equal to 1 amp. This is the definition. How does the resistance of the conductor depends on length? The resistance R of a conductor is directly proportional to its length. R is proportional to the length of conductor, or L. 16. How does the resistance conductor depend on its area of cross section? The resistance of a conductor is inversely proportional to the area of cross section A. That is, R is proportional to 1 by A, where A is the cross sectional area of the conductor. 17. Question number 17. Define electrical conductance. Answer. The reciprocal of resistance is called electrical conductance. That is G. G is the electrical conductance that is equal to 1 by R. Question number 18. Mention the SI unit of conductance. The SI unit of conductance is Siemens. S or mho. MHO. Mho, opposite of ohms. Question number 19. Define resistivity of a conductor. The resistivity of material of a conductor at a given temperature is equal to resistance of unit length of conductor having unit area of cross section. That is, the resistance R is equal to at a given temperature equal to L by A. Question number 20. A wire of resistivity is stretched to 3 times its length. What will be its new resistivity? Answer. There will be no change in resistivity because resistivity does not depend on length, dimensions of the wire. 21. Question number 21. Mention the relation between resistance and resistivity. Answer. The resistance of a conductor is given by R is equal to rho L by A, where rho is the specific resistance, L is the length of conductor, and A is the cross-section area of the conductor. Mention the SI unit of resistivity. The SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Question number 23. Define the term current density J. Answer. Current density J is defined as the electric current I per unit area I by A taken normal to the direction of current. That is, J is equal to I by A. That is the current flowing at the normal to the current. Question number 24. What is the SI unit of current density? Current density is expressed as ampere per meter square. That is, here A is ampere per meter square. That is I by A. Question number 25. Is current density a scalar or a vector quantity? Answer. Current density is also a vector quantity because it gives the direction. It is in the normal to the direction of current. Question number 26. Define electrical conductivity. Answer. The reciprocal of electric resistivity of material of a conductor is called conductivity. That is, sigma is equal to reciprocal 1 over rho, where rho is the electrical resistivity. Sigma is the electrical conductivity. Question number 27. Mention the relation between current density and conductivity. Answer. The current density J and conductivity are related by J is equal to sigma E, where J is the current density, sigma is the electrical conductivity, E is the field. Question number 28. Define drift velocity. Answer. It is defined as the average velocity gained by the free electrons of a conductor in opposite of the external applied field. That is, the electrons inside the conductor will be traveling with drift velocity, and in the absence of an electric field, when an electric field is applied externally, they flow in the opposite direction. Question number 29. What is the average velocity of free electrons in a metal at room temperature? The average velocity of free electrons in a metal at room temperature is 0. Question number 30. What is the effect of temperature on the drift speed of the electrons in a metallic conductor? The drift speed decreases with increase in temperature. Question number 31. Define relaxation time or mean free time. The average time that elapses between two successive collisions of an electron with fixed atoms or ions in conductor is called relaxation time. Relaxation time is represented, the symbol for relaxation time is tau. That is the time between two successive collisions of an electron. when fixed atoms or ions in a conductor. Question number 32. What is the effect of relaxation time of electrons in the metal? The relaxation time decreases with increase in temperature. Define electron mobility. Answer. Mobility mu is defined as the magnitude of drift velocity per electric field. That is, mu is equal to Vd by E, where mu is the mobility, Vd is the drift velocity, and E is the electric field. Question number 34. Mention the SI unit of mobility. The SI unit of electron mobility is meter square per volt per second. Question number 35. Name two materials whose resistivity decreases with rise in temperature. Germanium and silicon. We will study in the chapter 14 about the semiconductors. So in case of semiconductors, the resistivity decreases with the rise in temperature. Question number 36. How does the resistance of an insulator change with temperature? Answer. The resistance of an insulator decreases with increase in temperature. How does the resistance of a conductor vary with temperature? The resistance of a conductor increases linearly with increase in temperature and vice versa. That is, if you increase the temperature, the resistance increases, and if you decrease the temperature, the resistance of a conductor decreases. Question number 38. How does the resistivity of a conductor vary with temperature? This is repeated, hence I am skipping it. How does the resistivity of a semiconductor vary with temperature? The resistivity of semiconductor decreases exponentially. Please underline, it is decreasing exponentially with increase in temperature. 40. Question number 40. Name a material which exhibits very weak dependence of resistivity with temperature. Answer. Nichrome, an alloy of nickel, iron and chromium, exhibits very weak dependence of resistivity with temperature. Question number 41. What is the EMF of a cell? That EMF means electromotive force. So we are required to explain what is EMF of a cell. Answer. EMF E, electromotive force, E epsilon or E is potential difference between positive and negative electrodes in an open circuit when no current is flowing through the cell. That means in the open circuit no load is connected and there is no flow of current. Hence the voltage between the two positive and negative electrodes of a cell is in EMF. Define internal resistance of a cell. The infinite resistance, the finite resistance offered by electrolyte for the flow of current through it is called internal resistance. That is, the resistance of electrolyte in the cell constitutes an internal resistance. Question number 43. Give the expression for potential difference between the electrodes of a cell of EMF and internal resistance. So you have to write the relationship between voltage, EMF, that is potential difference V, EMF E, and internal resistance R. The relationship is given by, please remember, the potential difference V is equal to E minus IR, where V is the potential difference, E is the EMF, open circuit voltage, minus I is the current through the circuit, and R is the internal resistance. Derive the expression for equivalent EMF when two cells of EMFs E1 and E2 are connected in series. Answer: E equivalent is equal to E1 plus E2, where E1 is the EMF of cell E1 and E2 is the EMF of cell E2. Question number 45. Write the expression for equivalent EMF when two cells of EMFs E1 and E2 are connected in series such that the negative electrode E1 is negative electrode of E2. That is, E1 is greater than E2. So, when E1 is greater than E2, then negative is connected to the negative. Both are opposing each other. So, E equivalent is E1 minus E2. Question number 46. Write the expression for equivalent EMF of N cells, each of EMF connected in series. When N number of cells are connected in series, the equation E equals E given by E equal to En. Write the expression for equivalent internal resistance of N cells when each of the internal resistance R are connected in series. So the equal internal resistance R equivalent is equal to N times R. That is, the internal resistance of each cell is R. When we connect such cells, the series resistance R equivalent will be N into R. Question number 48. What is the electric network? In a circuit in which several resistors and cells are interconnected in a complicated way. Please note, in a complicated way. Question number 49. What is the node or a junction in an electrical network? It is a point in a network where more than two currents meet. What is a mesh or a loop in an electric network? A mesh or loop is closed path within the network for a flow of electric current. That mesh or a loop is a path, closed path. Please underline closed path within the network for the flow of electric current. Question number 51. State Kirchhoff's junction rule. Answer. At any junction in an electric network, the sum of currents entering the junction is equal to the sum of currents leaving the junction. That is, sigma incoming is equal to sigma outgoing in a junction. Question number 52. What is the significance of a junction rule? Conservation of charges. The junction rule says that the electric charges are conservative in nature. That is, if the incoming flow of charge is equal to outgoing number of charges. Please note, the junction rule is conservation of charge. Question number 53. State Kirchhoff's loop rule. So in question number 51, we studied about the junction rule. And there is a second rule. It is called Kirchhoff's loop rule. It says the algebraic sum of changes in potential around any closed loop involving resistors and cells in loop is zero. That is, the potential around a closed loop is zero. The algebraic sum is zero. What is the significance of loop rule? Conservation of energy. That is, the Kirchhoff's loop rule or Kirchhoff's voltage law is it shows the conservation of energy, whereas Kirchhoff's current law or a junction rule indicates conservation of charge. So please note the difference between the two. One is conservation of charge, second is conservation of energy. Question number 55. Write the condition for balance of Wheatston's network. Answer. At balance of Wheatstone network, the resistance are such that the current through the galvanometer Ig is 0. That means at balance, the current through galvanometer is 0. That is the condition of balance. Or P by Q equals R by S. That is where P, Q, S are all in cyclic order. In some of the circuit diagrams, P, Q, R and S are represented as R1, R2, R3 and R4. Please note the difference while copying the drawing. Question number 56. On what principle a meter bridge works? Meter bridge works on the principle of balance condition of Wheatstone's network. Mention one use of meter bridge. Answer. It is used to determine the unknown resistance of a given coil. So, meter bridge is used to measure resistance of a given coil. Question number 58. Write the expression for unknown resistance R in terms of a standard resistance S and balancing length L in case of a meter bridge. Therefore, answer is R. Unknown resistance R is given by R is equal to S. S is the standard resistance into L divided by 1 minus L, where L is the balancing length. Question number 59. How the error in finding R in meter bridge can be minimized? That means this question asks how to reduce the error in measuring R. Answer. The error in finding R in a meter bridge can be minimized by adjusting the balance point near the middle of the bridge, that is close to 50 centimeters, by suitable choice of standard resistance. That means the standard resistance S should be so chosen that the balancing point in the meter bridge occurs somewhere in the middle of the bridge, close to 50 centimeters. Question number 60. What is a potentiometer? Answer. It is an instrument consisting of long piece of uniform wire across which standard cell is connected. That is, it is an instrument where a long piece of uniform wire is connected across the standard cell. Question number 61. Mention the practical use of potentiometer. Answer. It can be used to determine EMF of one cell, or knowing EMF of one cell, we can measure EMF of one other cell. It is also used for measurement of the internal resistance of a given cell. Question number 61. Give the equations to compare EMFs of two cells in terms of balancing length. Answer. If L1 and L2 are the balancing lengths, then E1 by E2 equals L1 by L2. This is the principle for comparing the EMFs, that is electromotive forces of two cells in terms of balancing lengths L1 and L2. Question number 62. Give the formula to determine the internal resistance of the cell using potentiometer. That is, he is asking to write the formula. So we have to write answer is equal to R is equal to small r is equal to capital R mod L1 divided by L2 minus 1. This is the formula. Please note, L1 and L2 are the balancing lengths without and with external resistance respectively. That is, L1 is the balancing length without external resistance R, and L2 is the balancing length after connecting external resistance capital R. Question number 63. What is the advantage of the potentiometer? Answer. The potentiometer has the advantage that it draws no current from the voltage source being measured. That means that the potentiometer does not draw the load current from the source, voltage source. Question number 64. Name the device used for measuring EMF of a cell. Answer. Potentiometer. 2 or 3 mark questions. Question number 1. How is the current conducted in metals? Explain. Every metal or conductor has large number of free electrons which move randomly at room temperature. The average thermal velocity at any instant is 0. When potential difference is applied across the ends of a conductor, an electric field is set up. Due to this electric field, the free electrons experience force and drift towards the positive end of the conductor, which causes electric current. Question number 2. Define term drift velocity and relaxation time. Drift velocity is the average velocity gained by free electrons of a conductor in the opposite of externally applied electric field. Relaxation time. The average time that elapses between two successive collisions of an electron with fixed atoms or ion is called relaxation time. Question number 3. State and explain Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that the current I flowing through a conductor is proportional to potential difference V applied across its ends. The conditions for the same are the temperature and physical conditions should remain constant. That is, I is proportional to V. Question number 4. Mention the factors on which resistivity of a metal depends. The resistivity of a metallic conductor depends upon nature of conductor, area of cross section of the conductor, Write the relation between current density and conductivity for a conductor. Answer. J is equal to sigma into E, where sigma is the conductivity and E is the electric field. This is the relationship between current density and conductivity of a conductor. Question number 8. Why magnin is used to make standard resistance coil? For manganese, the temperature coefficient of resistance is very low and its resistivity is quite high. Due to it, the resistance of manganese wire remains almost unchanged with change in temperature. Hence, manganese is used to make standard resistances. That means the resistivity does not change with temperature. Question number 9. Draw VI graph for ohmic and non-ohmic materials. VI graph for ohmic material is a straight line as shown in figure A. VI graph for non-ohmic material is curved, that is non-linear or straight line not passing through the origin. The case of B and C shown in the figure. Question number 10. Distinguish between resistance and resistivity. Please see the table. Resistance is the opposition offered by a conductor to flow of electric current. Resistance depends on the dimensions and length and area of the conductor. The SI unit for resistance is ohm. Resistivity. The resistance of a unit cube of the material of a conductor is called resistivity. Resistivity depends upon the nature of material but independent of the dimensions. The SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Question number 11. How does the resistance of good conductor and semiconductor change with rise of temperature? Answer. The resistance of a conductor increases with the increase in temperature, whereas the resistance of a semiconductor decreases with increase in temperature. Question number 12. Terminal potential difference is less than the EMF of a cell. Why? When the circuit is open, the terminal potential difference is equal to EMF. When current is drawn from the cell, some potential drop takes place due to the internal resistance of the cell. Hence, terminal potential difference is less than the EMF of the cell, and it is given by the equation V is equal to E minus I into R. Distinguish between terminal potential difference and EMF of the cell. Please see this. This is terminal potential is V. So it is the potential difference between electrodes of a cell in a closed circuit. See, that is the difference. It is V and it is represented by V. SI unit of volt is SI unit of terminal potential difference is V. Whereas for EMF, it is the potential difference between electrodes of a cell when no current is drawn, and it is represented by E. That means EMF is the terminal voltage when no current is drawn. The SI unit is also volt. Both are volts, but only the difference is potential difference is a closed circuit, EMF is open circuit. Mention the factors on which the internal resistance of a cell depends. The internal resistance of a cell depends on the nature of electrolyte, nature of electrodes, temperature and concentration of electrodes, distance between the electrodes. Question number 15. For what basic purpose the cells are connected? 1. In series, and one in parallel. The cells are connected, number one, in series to get the maximum voltage. So when we connect one cells side by side, then we get maximum voltage. When we connect two cells in parallel, we get more current. This difference you can see in your UPS, where either we connect cell side by side or in parallel. Question number 16. State Kirchhoff's law of electrical network. Kirchhoff junction rule. Kirchhoff junction rule: at any junction in an electric network, sum of currents entering is equal to sum of currents leaving. Kirchhoff's loop rule: the algebraic sum of changes in potential around the closed loop involving resistors and cells in loop is zero. This is voltage, that is the changes in potential difference. Current, the Kirchhoff, the first law says, junction rule says, sum of current, incoming current is equal to outgoing currents. Entering current is equal to outgoing current. Leaving, currents leaving, entering, leaving. Whereas here, the algebraic sum of changes in potential around the closed loop involving resistors and cells in the loop is zero. That is, the sum of potential drop is zero. Yeah. Kirchhoff's voltage rule. Kirchhoff's loop rule. Question number 17. What is the cause of resistance of a conductor? While drifting, the free electrons collide with ions and atoms of the conductor. Motion of electrons is opposed during collisions. This is because of the resistance. This is the basic cause of resistance in a conductor. Question number 18. A large number of free electrons are present in metals. Why there is no current in the absence of an electric field across? Answer. In the absence of an electric field, the motion of electrons in a metal is random. There is no net flow of charge across the section of conductor. So no current flows. Principle of a working of a potentiometer. Answer. A potentiometer works on the principle that when a steady current flows through a wire of uniform cross section and composition, the potential drop across any length of the wire is directly proportional to the length. That is the simple principle. Potential drop is directly proportional to the length. Question number 20. What are the connecting resistors in a meter bridge made of thick? Why are they? Sorry. Question number 20. I will read again. Question number 20. Why are the connecting resistors in a meter bridge made up of thick copper strips? Answer. Thick copper strips offer minimum resistance and hence avoid the error due to end resistance, which have not been taken into account in the meter bridge formula. Question number 22. If the EMF of a cell be decreased, what will be the effect of zero direction deflection in a potentiometer? Explain. Answer. If the EMF of a cell is decreased, the potential gradient across the wire will decrease. Due to this, the position of zero deflection will be obtained on the longer length. Define the terms of electric energy and electric power. Give their units. Electric energy. The total work done by source of EMF in maintaining the electric current in a circuit for a given time is called electric energy. That is the work done by the source in maintaining a current in a circuit for a given time is called the electric energy. Its SI unit is joules. Electric power. The rate at which work is done by a source of EMF in maintaining an electric current through a circuit is called electric power of the circuit. Its SI unit is watt. See, difference between energy. The electric power is watt. It is the work done. When per hour, it is when a time factor is applied, then it is called electric energy. Given time. See, the difference is given time. It is joules or watt hours. Okay. If 1 watt of power is supplied for 1 hour, it is called watt hours. That is energy. Question number 25. Mention the limitations of Ohm's law. Limitations of Ohm's law. Ohm's law is applicable only for good conductors. Ohm's law is applicable only when the physical conditions like temperature, pressure and tensions remain constant. That means temperature should remain constant. Ohm's law is not applicable at low temperature and very high temperatures. Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductors, thermistors, vacuum tubes and discharge tubes because these are all non-ohmic materials. Now we will study or we will answer the 5-mark questions. First question number 1, derive the expression for electrical conductivity. Answer, consider a conductor of length L across a cross-sectional area A when electric field is applied. See, this is the conductor. This is a conductor of length L. L is here and a potential field E is applied to this conductor. Its electrons experience this external potential. They are drift. Because it is negative here, the electrons move in this direction and the current flows from like this in left to right. That is, current flows from left to right, electrons move from right to left. A is the cross-sectional area. I is the current. When electric field E is applied, its electrons are drifted opposite to the applied field. Hence, let Vd be the V suffix d be the drift velocity of the electrons. Volume of the conductor we know L. L is the length and cross-sectional area is A. Let N be the number of free electrons per unit volume of conductor. So, the number of electrons in this conductor is N. Therefore, the total number of electrons will be is equal to N into volume. This is the volume, N into volume. Total charge on the electrons in the conductor is given by N into number of electrons N LAE and into E, where E is the charge of one electron. Therefore, charge is given by Q is equal to N into L into A into E. That is the charge we have calculated. N L A E is the charge. That is equal to N E A L. But current we know, current is the charge per unit. That is I is equal to Q by T. We know. Therefore, in this equation, we have written charge NEL divided by T. That is equal to NEA into L by T. This L by T we have written separately. Where T is the time by electron thought to travel a distance L and Vd is the Vd equals distance traveled over time. That is L is the length divided by time T is the drift velocity. Therefore, the current is given by, this is the equation, I is equal to NEA into this L by T is Vd, drift velocity. Therefore, I divided by A, this I divided by this A, taking in the denominator, I by A is equal to NEVD, NEVD. A we have taken to the denominator. That is I by A is nothing but the current density J. That is the current density J here. Therefore, this shows I is proportional to the drift velocity. This is the expression for current. Please see this figure. Also here, the drift velocity is shown, the collision of electrons. Electrons move from A to B in this random manner. It goes here, blue line, dark lines, blue lines, goes, collides, drifts, and moves like that, and it moves to B, part B, in the absence of the field. When external field is applied, the path taken is shown in the dotted lines. So this is the external field E we have applied, and the electrons move, instead of going to B, move to B dash here. This is B dash. So let us know what is happening to the electrons in the presence of an electric field. As the temperature increases, relaxation time decreases. Because of the temperature, the electrons collide with one another. At the distance varies. The drift velocity depends on the nature of conductor and applied electric field. In the electric field, the electrons starting from point A move to point B in the absence of electric field. As I had explained just now, it moves to B instead of, and if the field E is applied, then it moves to B dash, as I have underlined here. So BB dash is the drift velocity. This BB dash is the drift velocity. This is the explanation for drift velocity. Let us go back and calculate the current density. We have proved in this equation, I by A is equal to N into V into D. That is current density. But we know drift velocity of electrons is given by E into E divided by M into tau, where tau is the relaxation time, E is the charge, and capital E is the applied field, and M is the mass of an electron. Therefore, joules becomes, in this equation, NeV we retain as it is, and Vd, we substitute the value of Vd in this equation as small e into capital E divided by M into tau. Therefore, we have to put Ne into E into tau by M, that is Ne square tau by M as sigma. Sigma is the thermal conductivity. Therefore, J is equal to sigma E. This is the derivation for expression for electrical conductivity. Sigma is the electric conductivity, or this we can write sigma is equal to J by E. This is the expression we have driven. This is the 5-mark question in your examination. Please note down and practice repeatedly. You will become expert in this. Question number 2. State and deduce Ohm's law. From this law, define the resistance of a conductor. At constant temperature, the steady current flows through a conductor, which is directly proportional to the potential difference between two ends of a conductor. If I is the current and V is the potential difference between the two ends, then we know I is proportional to V, that is current is proportional to the potential difference, or I is equal to constant into the voltage. This constant equals 1 by R. 1 by R, that is conductance. Therefore, I is equal to V by R, or V is equal to IR. The current flowing through a conductor is I is equal to N into E. As seen in the previous problem number 1, current flowing through a conductor is given by equation I is equal to N into E into Vd, where I is the current, N is the number of electrons, A is the cross-sectional area, small e is the charge, and Vd is the drift velocity. But we know drift velocity is equal to charge into field, electric field divided by M into tau. Therefore, I is equal to, substituting for values, N into A as it is. In place of V, we write E into V by L, where V is the potential difference. So V is the potential difference. That is, E is equal to V by L. That's why we have put L here. Here you have written n small n capital A E square into tau divided by ml is equal to 1 by R. That is equal to sigma. That is the conductance. Please remember this. 1 over R. That is equal to sigma. Ne square tau divided by, that is 1 by R. That becomes R is equal to reversing ml divided by Na E square tau. That is a constant called resistance. Ohm's law holds good for only when steady current, that is a DC current, flows through a conductor. Steady. The equation, please remember this graph. In the horizontal line, we have plotted V. In this graph, the x-axis V is in x-axis and I is in y-axis. So as we increase the voltage, the current increases. That is, V is proportional to IR. This is the graph. Please practice it. This is a 5-mark question and it is definitely, this will be asked in one of your examinations. Question number 3. Define EMF and terminal potential difference of a cell. Derive an expression for main current using Ohm's law. Define EMF and terminal potential. That is, define capital E and capital V of a cell and derive an expression for main current using Ohm's law. Please see the diagram here. E here, small e, that is capital E is the EMF of the cell, and R is the internal, small r is the internal resistance. An external resistance or a load, capital R, is connected as shown here. Positive end is connected here and negative end is connected. Negative end of the battery is connected to the other end of the resistance. The current starts from the positive. Current I flows from the positive terminal and it enters the resistance R, comes here and comes back to the negative terminal. This is the circuit. EMF is defined as the potential difference between the positive and negative electrodes of an open circuit. That means for measuring EMF, this R is not connected. If you measure, we don't connect, it is an open circuit. If you measure between positive and voltage between positive and negative terminal, it is EMF. It is denoted by E. That means when it is open circuit, no current is drawn. Terminal potential difference. The potential difference between two electrodes when an external load is current. That is, when we connect R, current flows. The circuit is completed, current flows through R. And this voltage is called potential difference. It is denoted by VT. That is terminal potential difference. Expression for main current flows in simple circuit and EMF Ohm's law. Consider an external resistance R connected across this cell. Let I be the current flowing through the circuit. E is the EMF, R is the internal resistance. V is the potential difference across R. When a resistor R is infinite, that is I equal to 0. Infinite I equal to 0 in the circuit, open circuit. That is when there is no R. The potential difference R is equal to V equals E, that is equal to V plus and V minus. That is the potential difference. If R is finite, I is not 0. The potential difference between end of the cell is V equals V plus V minus I into R. V is equal to E minus IR. Let it be equation 1. The negative sign of expression IR indicate that direction of current is in opposite to the electrolyte. IR is equal to E minus V. Therefore, IR is equal to E minus capital I into capital R. Therefore, IR is capital IR. If you take on the left side, IR plus IR is equal to E. Therefore, I into R plus R. If you take I common, R plus R is equal to E. Therefore, the expression for I is equal to E by R, small r plus capital R. This is the expression for main current. Next question. The grouping of unidentical cells in series and find their equivalent EMF and internal resistance. Please see the figure here. Two unidentical cells, that is E1 is different from E2. These are connected. The positive of one cell E1 is connected. There are terminals between A and B is cell E1. This is a positive terminal, and the longer bar is a positive terminal by convention, and a smaller bar is the negative terminal by convention. This is the E1. Two terminals of E1 are A and B. Similarly, for another cell E2, whose EMF is E2, the terminals are B and C. Here also the positive is a longer bar and the negative is smaller bar. So these two are connected side by side. We are required to find the equivalent EMF for the combination of these two cells and the derivation for internal resistance. R1 is the internal resistance of cell E1 and R2 is the resistance of cell E2. Hence, our combination, the equivalent voltage will be, EMF will be E equivalent, and the internal resistance due to R1 and R2 is R equivalent. These two terminals A and C are shown here. That means this circuit is equivalent to this circuit, but with a single cell and a equivalent resistance. And the direction of current, please note the arc, the arrows, the direction of arrows is same. These are called cells in series. The potential difference between the positive and negative terminals of the first cell, positive and negative terminal, this is positive, that is between VAB is equal to VA minus VB, that is equal to E1 minus I is the current into R1. R1 is the internal resistance of this cell. Similarly, the potential difference between positive and negative of the second terminal, that is between B and C, is VBC is equal to VB minus VC, that is equal to E2 minus of I into R2, because current is flowing from negative to positive. The potential difference between A and C of the combined A and C of the combination is VAC is equal to VA minus VC. Therefore, VAC is equal to VA minus VB plus VA minus VC. Therefore, VAC is equal to E1 minus I1 R1 plus E2 minus I R2. VAC is equal to E1 plus E2 minus I R1 in minus I R2. Simplifying, we get VAC is equal to E1 plus E2 minus I of R1 plus R2. That means the series combination of two cells can be replaced between A and C of EMF E equivalent and internal resistance R equivalent. See, E equivalent is here and R equivalent is VAC is equal to E equivalent. That is, E equivalent is equal to E1 plus E2 minus I into R1 plus R2 is R equivalent. That is equation number 2. Comparing equation 1 and 2, we get R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2. And E equivalent will be E1 plus E2. So, for two cells of different resistance, internal resistance R1 and R2, R equivalent is R1 plus R2 and their EMF E1 and E2, the equivalent EMF E equivalent is E1 plus E2 for cells in series. The result, the equivalent EMF of series combination of n cells is just sum of their individual. Suppose we have more than two cells, then E equivalent will be E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus etc. up to En. The equivalent internal resistance of series combination of n cells is sum of their internal resistance. That is, for more than two cells, the R equivalent, resistance equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2 plus 3 up to Rn. Question number 7. Discuss the grouping of two unidentical cells in parallel. Previously we discussed in series, in this case it is parallel, and find their equivalent EMF and internal resistance. Please, this is an important 5-mark question. Here please see the figure. Two cells E1 and E2 are connected such that their positive are connected to, both positives are combined and connected at terminal B1. Similarly, both the negative terminals are connected at B2. B1 is connected to terminal A and B2 is connected to terminal C. So now we are required to find, this is called the parallel combination. That is, one is up and the other one is down, positive to positive, negative to negative. These are these two parallel cells. Hence, this is equivalent to, this is A as it is. Between B and B2, we have connected a single cell with equivalent EMF E equivalent and equivalent resistance R equivalent. There are very lengthy calculations, but anyway these are simple and you have to follow it. As explained, the currents, we have to first mark the currents. See the arrows here. It starts from positive and it starts from positive and they meet at B1. Incoming currents at B1 are I1 plus I2 and they go at I. Similarly, at B2, the current are like this. The currents are outgoing from this junction B2. I2, it is going towards negative. This is also going towards negative. Therefore, I1 goes to E1 and I2 goes to E2. So, I2 starts from here, goes E2 and goes in this direction. Similarly, from B2, I1 starts and goes, enters negative terminal and goes here. B2. So, the current I here from C goes to B2, splits into I1, I2 and combines at B1 and flows out. This is the equivalent circuit. So there are 4 steps. First step is you calculate I1 for cell E1. It is given by V is equal to VB1 minus VB2. That is equal to E1 minus I1 R1. That is, we simplifying, we get I1 is equal to E1 minus V by R1. You please note down. This is upper arm for E1. Second step is calculate the current I2 similarly for the cell E2. So this is, it goes like this. So I2 is equal to, so we have to find out V is equal to VB1 minus VB2, that is equal to E2 minus I2 R2. R2 is here inside R2. Therefore I2 is equal to E2 minus V by R2 as shown here in this second box. So now we have to combine these two. So combine those two is in third step. Therefore I is equal to I1 plus I2, that is equal to I1 key value you just substitute here, E1 minus V by R1 plus E2 minus V by R2, and simplifying taking simple calculation, we get V into R1 plus R2 divided by R1 plus R1 R2 equals E1 R2 minus E2 R1 by R1 R2 minus 1. So again, only retaining V on the left side and transferring all other things here, we get V is equal to E1 R2 minus E2 R1 divided by R1 R plus R2 minus I over R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. You please write down repeatedly, you will understand. Therefore, we get this is equivalent to VAC. VAC is the EMF between terminal A and C. This is given here. That should be E equivalent and R equivalent. Therefore, VAC is equal to E equivalent minus I into R equivalent. Therefore, E equivalent is equal to, simplifying, we get E equivalent is equal to this term E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 plus R2, and R equivalent will be equal to R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So then we have to simplify this. Just to find out, we have to simplify the quantities of E1 and EQ and RQ, divide. So we have divided it here, and that's we get E equivalent by R equivalent is equal to E1 R2 plus E2 R1 divided by R1 R2. So R equivalent value will get 1 over R equivalent is equal to 1 over, see, E1 R2 divided by R1 R2. R2 gets cancelled and that becomes R1. So etc. into R1 up to 1 over Rn. So R1. So for parallel combination, reciprocals of internal resistance gets added. That is 1 over RQ is the reciprocal of RQ. This you please note. For series, the resistance add up, and for parallel connection of cells, reciprocals get added up. State and explain Kirchhoff's rules. Answer: Kirchhoff's first law. It is also known as Kirchhoff's current law or KCL. It states that the algebraic sum of the currents meeting at any junction in a circuit is 0. Please see the figure. Conductors 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are joined at a point O. O is called the junction. The currents through these conductors are I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. And their direction of flow of current is also shown in the diagram. The convention is the currents flowing into the junction O, that is I1, I4 and I5 are assumed to be positive. Similarly, the currents leaving the junction O, that is I2 and I3 in the figure, are assumed to be negative. These are the standard conventions. Kirchhoff's law states that the sum of currents entering the junction, that is I1 plus I4 plus I5, is equal to currents leaving the junction, that is I2 plus I3. Or if you take a sum of all the currents, it will be 0. This law is consequence of conservation of charges. Kirchhoff's second law, or it is also known as Kirchhoff's voltage law. It states that the algebraic sum of products of resistance R and current I in each part of any closed circuit is equal to the algebraic sum of EMFs in that circuit. This law is a consequence of conservation of energy. In applying Kirchhoff's law, the electrical networks, the direction of current flow may be assumed either clockwise or anti-clockwise. If the assumed direction is not actual direction, then on solving the problems, the current will be found to be negative. If the result is positive, then assumed direction is correct. In the application of Kirchhoff's second law, we follow the current in clockwise direction is taken as positive and the current in the anti-clockwise direction is taken as negative. Let us consider a circuit given in the figure. Considering a closed loop, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, A, closed loop. See where the starting point, we have to come back to the, after going around the mesh, we have to come back to the same point. So A, B, C, D, E, F, A, we get I1 into R2 plus I3 into R4 plus I3 into R5 plus I4 into R6 plus I1 into R1 equals the EMFs in this loop is E1 and E3, E1 plus E3. This is shown in this line. Both E1 and E3 are currents in the clockwise direction. So currents are flowing out of E1 and E3 in the clockwise direction. Hence, it is taken as E1 and E3. Next, for a closed loop, A, B, E, this loop, A, B, E, F and A, we write the equation I1 into R2 plus I2 into R3 plus I4 into R6 plus I1 into R1 equals E1 minus E2. Here E2, because the current flow from E2 is anti-clockwise. Current is flowing in anti-clockwise, whereas in this from E1 it is flowing in the clockwise direction. Negative sign in E2 indicates that it sends current in the anti-clockwise direction. This is Kirchhoff's second law. Next question. Deduce the condition for balance of Wheatstone network using Kirchhoff's law. This is the Wheatstone bridge. Here there are 4 terminals A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. And a battery or a cell voltage source is connected between A and C as shown. Here R1 is the resistance here, R1 between A and D, R2 is between A and B, and between the arm B and C is R4, and unknown resistance whose value is to be calculated is connected here, and this is R3, this is R3, this is R1, R3. This is the standard and a known resistance, and a galvanometer is connected between B and D. So E is the EMF supply voltage. This is the explanation for this. Has got a 4 arm resistance R1, R2, R3, R3, R4, R1, R2, R3, R4 across the pair, and B is a source is connected battery arm. This is a battery arm. A and C is the battery arm, and between B and D a galvanometer is connected. Let Ig be the current through the galvanometer. The branch current and directions are as shown in the figure. Please mark very clearly and you practice this diagram. This is a sure question will be there in this. Apply Kirchhoff's loop rule for A, D, B, A. This is the loop rule. This is one loop, Kirchhoff's law. So therefore you start and write the equation. I2, you start from here. This is I2 R2 minus, see we are going here, minus IG RG minus I1 R1 equals 0. In this there is a equation. This is equation number 1. Apply Kirchhoff's rule to loop C, B, D, C. This loop. Therefore, I2 minus Ig flows. As we have marked, you see, I2 minus Ig is the current flowing between B and C into R4. R4 is the value of this. This is R4 minus, here you see, here I1 plus, you see, I1 plus Ig minus Ig. In this one minus I1 plus Ig into R3. R3 is the resistance here. Minus Ig into G equals 0. This is the second. There are two equations. The bridge is said to be balanced when galvanometer shows zero deflection. So when we vary the standard resistance and make Ig equals 0, then it is the bridge is in balance condition. The equation 1 and 2 becomes, when Ig is 0, therefore I2 R2 is equal to I1 R1 because Ig is 0. Therefore I2 R2 is minus I1 R1 equals 0, or I2 R2 is equal to I1 R1. Therefore for the second equation, for this equation I2 R4, for this equation number 2, this is for equation number 2, Ig equals 0. Therefore I2 R4 I minus I1 R3 equals 0. Therefore I2 R4 minus I1 R3 equals 0. Therefore I2 R4 equals I1 R3. This is equation 4. If we divide equation 3 by equation 4, we get R2. Here you see R2 by R4 is equal to, that is R2 by R4 is equal to R1 by R3. This is the balance at balance. Therefore R2 is equal to R2 by R1 is equal to R4 by R3. Therefore this is the balancing condition of Wheatstone. We can calculate the value of R4 in terms of known resistances. If R1, R2 and R3 are known, we can find out unknown resistance. Multiple choice questions. Question number 1. Kirchhoff's second law for electric network is based on there are four choices: law of conservation of charge, law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of angular momentum, law of conservation of mass. We know the Kirchhoff's second law is based on law of conservation of energy. Hence, answer is B. Question number 2. A cell of EMF E and internal resistance R is connected across an external resistor R. The graph shows the variation of potential difference across R versus R. So the potential, four graphs are shown. We know that for Kirchhoff's law is applicable for V versus R is a straight line starting from the origin. Hence, B is the answer. Wheatstone bridge experiment is most sensitive when four options are given. We know that the correct answer is A. That is, all four resistances are approximately equal. Answer is A. Question number 4. In Wheatstone bridge, all four arms have equal resistance. Resistances are, if resistance of galvanometer arm is also R, then equivalent resistance of the combination is option A R, option B 2R, option C R by 2 and option D R by 4. The correct answer is A, because we know the four arms of Wheatstone bridge are P, Q, R and S. So the resistances of galvanometer can be ignored or omitted. Hence, we get the equivalent resistances are 2R into 2R divided by 2R plus R. The value is R. Hence, answer is A. Question number 5. For a cell of EMF 2 volts, the balance is obtained for 50 centimeters of the potentiometer wire. If the cell is shunted by a 2 ohm resistor and the balance is obtained across 40 centimeters of the wire, then the internal resistance of the cell is given by A 1 ohm, B 0.5 ohm, C 1.2 ohm, D 2.5 ohm. The correct answer is B, and the calculation is shown below. Small r is equal to capital R into L1 minus L2 divided by L2. Substituting the values, we get 2 into 50 minus 40 divided by 40. The answer is 0.5 ohms, that is B. In a meter bridge, the resistance box with R is equal to 2 ohms is connected in the left gap and the unknown resistance S in the right gap. The balancing length is 40 centimeters. Calculate value of S. And the given answers are 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 4 ohms and 2.5 ohms. Correct answer is 3. The calculations are shown here. We know 2 divided by 40 is equal to S divided by 60. Therefore, S is equal to 3 ohms. That is, answer is B. Question number 7. How much work is required to carry a 6 microcoulomb charge from the negative to positive terminal of a 9 volt battery? Here, the charge is 6 microcoulomb. The answer is A 54 into 10 to the power of minus 3 joules, B 54 into 10 to the power of minus 6 joules, C 54 into 10 to the power of minus 9 joules, D 54 into 10 to the power of minus 12 joules. Here we have to do some calculations. Calculations are W is given by Q into V, where W is the work done, Q is the charge and V is the supply voltage, potential terminal. Therefore, the given values are Q is 6 into 10 to the power of minus 6. 10 to the power of minus 6 is due to microcoulomb into 9. So the answer is 54 into 10 to the power of minus 6. That is the answer B. Question number 8. For a cell, the terminal potential difference is 3.6 volts. When the circuit is open, if the potential difference reduces to 3 volts when the cell is connected to a resistance of 5 ohms, the internal resistance of the cell is. Here, what has happened? The potential difference is 3.6 volts. When the circuit is open, that is EMF is 3.6, E is equal to 3.6. If the potential difference is V is equal to 3 volts, when a 5 ohm external resistance is connected. So, we have to calculate internal resistance IR. Therefore, R is given by R is equal to R into E minus V divided by V, that is equal to 5 into 3.6 minus 3 divided by 3, that is equal to 1 ohm. Answer A is the correct answer. Question number 9. A cell supplies a current of 0.9 amps through a 2 ohm resistor and a current of 0.3 amps through a 7 ohms resistor. The internal resistance of the cell is, we have to calculate the internal resistance of a cell. So here calculation as to E is equal to 0.9 into 2 plus R. R is the internal resistance. That gives an equation 1.8 plus 0.9 R. Equation 1. Then it also gives and it carries a current of 0.3 and 7 ohms resistor. That is 7 plus R. That is equal to 2.1 plus 0.3 R. See, this is equation. Previous equation was equation number 1. This equation is equation number 2. Subtracting 2 from 1, we get 0.6 R is equal to 0.3 or R is equal to 0.3 divided by 0.6. That is equal to half. Answer is 0.5 ohms. D is the answer. Question number 10. Kirchhoff's first law for electric junction is based on. We know that it is first law is based on charge. The answer is A. The temperature coefficient of resistance of wire is at 27 degrees Kelvin. Its resistance is 1 ohm. The temperature at which resistance becomes 2 ohms is B. Answer is B. Question number 12. Drift velocity varies with intensity of electric field as per the relation. We know we have to remember the drift velocity is proportional to Vd is proportional to E. The correct answer is E. E. That is Vd is proportional to E. Answer is A. Question number 13. The dimensions of a block are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter into 100 centimeters. If the specific resistance of the material is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 7 ohm meter, then resistance between opposite rectangular face. Please note here the resistance is not measured from this square area. It is measured between the rectangular area which is 100 centimeters long. Hence the formula we have to substitute properly and calculate. 4 options are given. A 3 into 10 to the power of minus 9. B 3 into 10 to the power of minus 7. C 3 into 10 to the power of minus 5. And D 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3. The correct answer is B. You please do the calculations. R is equal to rho L by A. Here L you have to take as 100 centimeters. That is 10 to the power of minus 2 meters. And this 1 by 1 centimeter also you have to calculate as in terms of meter. So A is 1 into 1 divided by 10 to the power of minus 2. That is 10 to the power of minus 7. 10 to the power of B is the answer. Question number 14. In the given current distribution, what is the value of I? See, this is the figure given. Here you have to note, calculate the value of the current. So, incoming currents are 4 amps plus 2 amps, 6 amps plus I is equal to outgoing is 3 plus 5, 8. Therefore, I is equal to 8 minus 6. That is equal to 2 amps. Answer is 2 amps. Completion type of questions. Kirchhoff's law, first law for electric network is based on conservation of charge. Question number 2. Kirchhoff's second law of our electric network is based on conservation of energy. Question number 3. A cell of EMF E and resistance R is connected across an external resistance R, capital R. The potential difference across the terminals of the cells for R is equal to R is E by 2. The alloy which are used for making resistances have very low temperature coefficient of resistance and high resistivity. Wheatstone bridge experiment is most sensitive when all resistances are of same order. Question number 6. In slide wire experiment, copper strips are used in place of copper wires due to their low conductivity. In the slide wire, low conductivity. Question number 7. EMFs of two cells can be compared using a potentiometer apparatus. Question number 8. Meter bridge works on the principle of Wheatstone bridge. As per Kirchhoff's second law, the algebraic sum of EMF is equal to algebraic sum of product of current and resistance, that is I into R. Question number 10. A battery of EMF of 2 volts and internal resistance 0.1 ohm is being charged with a current 5 amps. So here current is 5 amps and EMF is 2 volts and small r is 0.1 ohm. The potential difference between the terminals of the battery is 2.5 volts. Here V is equal to E plus IR. You should remember that V is always, therefore V is equal to when charging, it is charging, being charged. That is why the formula you have to use is E is equal to I plus R because it is being charged. Therefore V is equal to E plus IR, that is equal to 2 plus I is 5 into 0.1, it is equal to 2.5 volts. This you please note. Being charged, you have to note. That is why the formula changes. Question number 11. There is a metal block of dimensions 20 by 10 by 15 centimeter ratio. The ratio of maximum to minimum resistance of the block is, see, maximum occurs when L is 20 centimeter and minimum occurs when length is 10 centimeters at the other dimensions. So calculations are given here. R maximum is equal to rho into L by A. That is, here L is 20 centimeter for maximum and A is 10 into 15. So if you calculate, you will get one value, and R minimum is rho into L by A. So minimum, for minimum the length should be smallest, that is 10 centimeter, and it should be divided with the remaining 20 by 50. Therefore R maximum by R minimum is 4. True or false type questions. Kirchhoff's second law. Kirchhoff's junction law is a reflection of the fact that net charge accumulate at the junction is 0. So the charges junction law is true. That is charges. Question. The graph between potential difference across R versus R when a cell of EMF E and internal resistance R across the terminal is false. True. The alloy which are used for making of resistors have low temperature coefficient of resistance and high resistivity. True. Wheatstone bridge experiment is most sensitive when all the 4 resistors are approximately equal. True. In a meter bridge experiment, copper plates are used due to low conductivity. False. Potentiometer works on the principle of Wheatstone bridge. False. The EMF of cell depends on the internal resistance of a cell. False. When manganese conductor is heated, its resistance decreases rapidly. It falls. Manganese is an alloy. Its resistance almost independent of temperature. Question number 9. If the EMF of a battery is E and internal resistance be R, the maximum current that can be drawn from it is I is equal to E by R. That is true. That is I is equal to E divided by R plus R. For R equal to 0, I maximum is equal to E by R. Question number 10. Temperature coefficient of resistance is a good conductor for resistance for a good conductor is negative. False, because alpha is positive for conductors. Matching type of question. Please see the table. Column A has given 2 options and column B there are 3 options. You have to match each of column with the correct answer. So first in column A, SI unit of power is, we know, watt, that is B, and SI unit of electric current is ampere. 2 is C. Question number 2. Conductance is reciprocal of resistance, that is C. Resistivity is reciprocal of conductivity, A. Question number 3. Kirchhoff's first law is based on conservation of charge. So 1 is B. Kirchhoff's second law is based on conservation of energy. So 2 is C. Question number 4. Ohm's law is applicable for both alloys and carbon resistors. 1 is A and B. Ohm's law is not applicable for diodes. C. In given circuit, please see the circuit here. 5 ohms, 10 ohms and 15 ohms are connected in series. So potential difference across 10 is, you see here 30 volts is the supply and the resistance of this network is 30. So 1 amp current flows. Therefore, the potential difference across 10 ohms is 10 volts. So C, 1 is C. And the potential difference across 5 ohms is 5 volts. Therefore, answer is A. With this, we have studied it. Let us see the formulae. These are the formulas. You please go through it, copy down and revise it, and note down all important formulae used in chapter number 3, that is current and electricity, have been given, and you please note down and practice it repeatedly. There are about 30 formulae given here. Please go through them, note down and practice. With this we conclude, we come to the end of this chapter.